Hello and welcome to this video. Now we are going to take a look here at the Universal Autopilot version 2 project. First off, we are going to demonstrate how to install Fly with Lua, that is required to run the script. And we are using the latest version for X-Plane 9 and 10, not for 10 and 11, as that is on hold for now. And it's due to the X-Plane 11 isn't final yet, and the developer do not want to do more until he got his own copy of X-Plane 11 when things settles a bit, and I understand that, and I'm in some kind of the same position at the moment, as there is no reason to keep on developing when things isn't settled yet, as then you just might work in one direction and Laminar in another, and we end up doing stuff that isn't required in the end. So let's keep it to the X-Plane 10 for now, even though there are users out there that has been using it in X-Plane 11, and you should be feeling free to do that. Just note that you would require another version of Fly with Lua than I'm linking to here. You just click the link and you click download this file, and you get the Fly with Lua file like here, and you are going to extract it here, so you get the Fly with Lua file. Then you go into the script folder and you just remove all those files here. You can delete them, or you can say cut, and you can go back and place them in the disabled. I mean, they are already in here. Yes, they are, but just replace them anyway, so we do not make any deletion of those files. Then you have no active files in the script folder of Fly with Lua. Then you need to install it, and you just cut it or copy it or whatever you do. Go to your X-Plane 10 root folder, go into resources and plugins, and here you would just say paste it, of course. Now I already got it pasted. I am not going to do it once again, but I am going in here and say move to trash, so you are at the same level as we are before. Let's get back to the website and get the files downloaded. You click on the button here to download the files. Then when you have downloaded it, when you want to download, you got two options. One is the no text or the text one. The naming of the main files is the same as you would see here when we see them side by side. It is the same name, and that's basically the same name as version 1 as well, and that's basically to keep it simple and to prevent people from making mistakes. I do not want people to come and complain that things are crashing. I have seen that in the past, and I have tried to do my very, very best to try eliminate those scenarios, even though I would have liked to name it version 2 or whatever it might be, but if you then had the previous version, it might crash. So that is why I used the exact same name. And that could be a bit problematic if you would like to try one and another and have them in the disabled folder, but that is how it basically is, other than you could keep the zip files in that folder, so you got both of them and just take the file out as you want to use it. But anyway, you have to make the choice. Do you want the simulator to be able to open this main window by using a simple click on the text on the screen in the lower left corner, or do you want to assign a button whenever it's keyboard or a joystick or whatever it might be? First off, we are going to take the text version. So we are just going to say extract, and we want to extract it. Yes, we do that. Quit. Then it is extracted. Then you say cut or copy or whatever you do. Go back into your Explain 10 root folder, into resources, plugins, Fly with Lua, and the script folder. Now you're gonna paste it in here, and then you have a few options, but we would return to those when we have been shown you the both files, because I advise you to see them before you start making changes, because you have to make the changes over again if you decide that you would use the other file. So there is no real good reason for doing that before you have found out what you like the most. So that is what we are going to do here. Okay. So now the simulator is loading. Then I can go back and try to extract the other file in the location, so I can return in a moment. You do not need to do that step at all if you already know what version you would like to use, of course. This is for demonstration purpose only. And as you can see, we are in the version that has the text. This text is only when you use the text version. That's why it's named text version. It is because this is the text you got. You click it and it would open the window. X to close it. Text to open. Pretty simple. That is basically what there is to it. Then I'm going to shut down the simulator again. Let's go back to where we unzipped the other file, and it was in the downloads in my projects, and here it is. It got the same name as the other one, of course. Copy it, and we are going back into the Explain resources, plugins, Fly with Lua, and scripts folder. Then I'm just gonna paste it and replace it, just as you would do if you had the version 1 distro, whatever you might have been. You just replace it, of course, by the new version here. When that is done, we can start up the simulator. There is a way to skip this step, but I'm not going to demonstrate that, just to make less confusion. In the meantime, we can go back into the script folder, and then I would open the file that is active at the moment, of course, because let's say this is the version I want to use. I do this because now we are going to take a look, while the simulator is loading, we're going to take a look at what we can adjust. You can adjust the values that I'm marking here. This here is for the advanced users only. It is for the users that want to use the X and Y tool to give another startup location for the main window that opens. So if you do not want the window to open up here by default, but up here, you need that tool to get the coordinates to get it started up here. You can click and drag the window around, and I'm going to show that now in a second when we have assigned a button. To assign a button, you have to go to the advanced if it is for a joystick, of course, and click on as I did, and click on the autopilot. You will not see the radio. That is only if you have the radio installed, the radio panel project, I should say. And now you got it assigned, and I can show you. There we go. Open and close. Okay. Same for the keys. Go down, add a new key. Set the key that you would like to to do to use, just as I have done here, and then you just go up and just as before click on the LN, click on the autopilot and open, and now this button is assigned. So now whenever you click it, it would open, and when it is open and you click it again, it would close. Just like that. Then let's get back to what I was talking about. If you do not like the position where the window is at the moment, because it could be I would like it up here. That is pretty much what I could do, and that's fine if I like it to be there. But it has a limit. If I close the window and open it again, it would stay there. If I, however, do something that would reload Fly with Lua, like the feature I wouldn't show you before, here, now it's back in the left corner where you left it. That wouldn't be convenient if you are wanting it to be up at that position all the time for the most of the aircraft you're using. Then it would be easier for you to use my tool and say, now I want to adjust the numbers here to the values that the tool can give you. So that is what those are for. Then you got those values here. Those values are reset values. You might know that the X-plane remembers the values used from the previous flight. That could be nice for some things, but for the autopilot, not that great always. So I tend to keep it clean and let it reset. So that is what you can do. You can remove it, and then it would remember whatever it was set for before, or you could move a given line if it's only some of it you do not like. But I feel that was a better option than setting X-plane to not remembering anything, because that's also an option in X-plane that it would not. But then it also wouldn't remember what airport you was flying to and all those things. So it has a lot of negative side effects as well, and that's why I wanted to make this option. And then you got the values down here. They are optional to adjust. The Mach number is not set by default. You can see it's blue text. Removing those two lines, it is now active, and you can also read the text there. It is active, and now it is not active anymore. By default, it's not active because I do not feel there is a need to start off by at a given preset. You have to understand that when you are switching between Mach numbers and speed numbers, if the ditref and such is actually the same, it's just a calculation that is made, so it has to do some way where it starts, and by default, if you do not do anything, it just goes to maximum values, just as it would do for the Mach number. But it isn't a problem for Mach number from my perspective. In a climb, you can just adjust it a bit down, and then you are pretty close to what you would use as a Mach number. However, if you are in a descent, it wouldn't be fine that the aircraft would go to 330 knots or whatever it might be, as then the aircraft would do a nosedive if you are using the flight level change, and that would not be optimal for anyone. And your passengers would at least be the happy people for that kind of behavior. So that's why I have made that limitation. But know that the value you are setting is not the same as the aircraft would set it, because if the aircraft can't achieve that, it would not do it. In this aircraft you can't achieve Mach numbers, so So maximum mark number you would see is 0. It can't go to, even if I activated the 050, it can't. It would say 0 just as it does now, where it just goes to maximum because it does not have maximum, the ability to fly Mach numbers, of course. The same for the airspeed. This aircraft can only go for the autopilot. It can only show you 232. It can't show you 250, and you would see that now if I go to Mach numbers by pressing the first letter here. In the lower part, it would go to Mach number. In the upper part, it would go to speed. And as you can see, as I said, 223 is the maximum. I can scroll down, but I can't scroll higher. You can see the value resets because it can't go any higher than this value. So even though you have set it to reset to 250, it would just go to what its maximum capability is. So it's again up to the main aircraft you're flying, but it was a compromise I have to do to try prevent dangerous situations. The optimal would of course have been that they has been using two different data references, one for the Mach number and one for the other, because then you might be able to create some code that could read when they are switching. Else I have to make a calculation for it when switching what it is. But well, yeah, that is how it is. So that is some options you got there that you can be using. So that is pretty much what there is to it. I hope that was informative, and thank you for watching.